I'm Christopher Richardson, technology industry principal analyst and researcher for Galson, your trusted tech resource. I have to give a little background before I give my answer. Let's start by defining technology as the practical application of scientific knowledge. So you start with a problem, you hypothesize, you experiment, you research, you share research, and others are doing the same. And you come up with a solution that solves a problem. When we're looking at technology trends, we're looking at what problems exist that don't currently have widely known and used solutions. To bring it all together, we're asking, are there viable solutions that can solve our problems using the practical application of scientific knowledge? That is a mouthful. The first part is identifying the problems to be solved. Not enough resources, not enough access to internal knowledge, not enough capacity to scale, etc. The second part is identifying what solutions we are currently aware of to solve these problems. The third is experimenting with the available solutions and/or trying to create new solutions. So based on this, what are we seeing the industry focused on? Let's start with artificial intelligence, machine learning, quantum computing, edge computing, cloud, 5G and 6G, blockchain, sustainability, and ecotech, and a few more. These are areas of focus where the problems to be solved are well identified, and there's enough industry interest to come up with solutions and enough financial investment and resource allocation to make advancements. So the tech industry is foundational to our global markets as an investment vehicle. Although the finance industry produces more billionaires, they are investing in the tech industry. That means there's money in the tech space and it isn't going away anytime soon. What's interesting about this moment is there's a lack of diversity in where the investments are going. Currently, it's all about generative AI, and there are a couple reasons for that. A lot of the other frontier technologies have matured to a point where the need for robust investment just isn't as large. Some of the leaders in the space are over-promising advancements if they can raise more capital, and big businesses banking on being able to leverage generative AI to scale their business at some point. There are a few things to look out for. Mainly, who has access to data centers and hardware, who controls access to large language models, economic considerations, especially if the US goes into recession, geopolitical considerations, mainly between US and China, and business adoption rates. If any of these things don't go well, you may see the industry in crisis and the AI bubble will likely burst. Technology is interwoven into the fabric of our society at this point. We have 2 generations of humans who have always had access to instant information via the internet. We're able to real-time communicate on the go at low cost to anyone around the world, which is an incredible feat. What we also have is life curated by information brokers. What we see, what we buy, our belief systems and worldviews are curated by people who almost always have an ulterior motive, whether it's to sell you something, convince you with something, or in many cases, just confuse you. We're seeing technology being used to spread misinformation and suppress vital information, especially information that isn't being supported by the ruling government of some countries. We're also seeing technology being leveraged in unconventional ways to bypass traditional vehicles so that people stay informed. We're also seeing technology being leveraged to expand access to populations that would normally not have access to first world opportunities. Remote work, e-learning, and telehealth come to mind. This also comes with some challenges, especially in the developing world. You still need hardware and internet access to leverage these things, and if your access is limited, the technology might as well not exist. We're also seeing mental health issues and addiction on the rise. Technology gives us access and reach, which unfortunately can be contributors. The last point I want to make is about the current job market and future job markets. Technology especially automation and generative AI, have the potential to turn redundant tasks from people-driven to technology-driven, which means people will need to be reskilled because those jobs will likely be eliminated. I think this is where a lot of business leaders especially get it wrong. You still need people, you just need them doing different things. Maybe you go from originating data to validating data, or going from reviewing orders manually to just doing advanced error correction. Having humans in the loop is not just a nice to have skill, it's essential. Currently, geopolitics is driving so many areas of the tech landscape. Let's start with the elephant in the room, the US versus China. There's a competition for market dominance in the semiconductor space to the point the US has put policies in place to direct manufacturers who they can sell to and who they can't. AI is a big one. Chinese AI research labs are making inroads on American-based AI research labs, showing that they're able to produce distilled models significantly cheaper in some cases. As a result, enhanced export controls and sanctions are happening, with more on the way. Another key concept that is evolving in the geopolitical space is the idea of data sovereignty. Simply stated, data sovereignty is data being processed and governed where it originates. While this isn't a new concept, it's become highlighted even more with advancements in Gen AI. Countries are enacting stricter localization laws. Some examples are the European Union's General Data Protection Regulation, or GDPR, NIST data standards in the US, Singapore's AI governance rules, and India's Digital Personal Data Protection, or DPDP law. I expect to see more coming from all over the world very, very soon. What's interesting is that you don't see worldwide standards or as much international cooperation concerning this as you would expect. One of the key reasons is this idea of competitive advantage. Some countries see less regulation tied to more innovation, while others see more data protection as the key to progress. Finally, let's talk about the baby elephant in the room, emerging markets. India, Brazil, Indonesia, Singapore, Rwanda, and South Africa are slowly becoming players in the technology space. Some of the drivers are younger populations, improving access to resources, and educated populations that can leverage economy of scale for competitive advantage. I expect to see great things from these countries very soon. I wish I owned a crystal ball, but here's what I believe the future holds, at least in the short term. First, more regulations in the form of strict policies around generative AI, data privacy, and antitrust issues. I believe we will see many companies going back to basics around data management once they realize how important data is to AI implementation. I think we're going to see technologies being integrated in some interesting ways. So think IoT modules meets AI meets blockchain, especially in the manufacturing sectors. I also think that we see intelligent automation rise above generative AI in terms of importance in the enterprise space. Finally, I think we'll see shifts in some of the highest paying roles. I do not believe coders will go away, but I do believe that they become validators. I believe the architect role will be the most important role in the enterprise, not that it isn't already, as a former architect myself. But I do believe the tedious task of coding will turn into a role where developers are locked into the big picture earlier and are helping to ensure that the big picture is being translated down to the code level. I'm excited for the future, and I hope that I'm right.